Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and today I'd like to discuss two topics that are very near and dear to my heart. The first of which is horror movies, and the second is mental health. Mental health is a topic that's extremely important to me because it's been an extremely important part of my life and my growth. I personally suffer from anxiety, depression, and I've been diagnosed with PTSD due to significant childhood trauma. And I don't mind admitting that, but it's taken me a very long time to get there. And that's one of the things that is one of the, I don't know, I personally have always been an advocate for the discussion of mental health to be no different than the discussion of any topic of health. I see no reason for there to be any more stigma attached to anxiety attacks than I do an ingrown toenail. I'd like to actually show you something that I've never shown anybody outside of my closest inner circle of friends. I'm going to expose myself just a little bit here on more of a raw, visceral level, but there was a period of time several years back where I was encountering more frequent and more violent PTSD attacks, and I went to see a therapist about it, and I got introduced to grounding methods. And there's several different grounding methods that can help alleviate and pull somebody out of an attack, especially if they feel it oncoming, if it hasn't reached its full-blown status yet. Something to kind of just mentally distract them from things like counting ceiling tiles, and it's just basically mental practices in which one can distract the brain and try to work their way out of it. And one of those is through the use of a totem. You might recognize the idea of totems through the movie Inception, so on and so forth, but it's that kind of small personal thing, an object that you can kind of feel and recognize and hold on to, something that you can focus on the various sides of and have a very familiar understanding of what the weight of it feels like, and just kind of focus on it again to distract your brain. And this is my totem. This is something that patrons of my channel will recognize, because these dice are how I actually pick things for like movie nights, things like that. But this is just a 10-sided die that I got as part of a Gemini pack from Chessex. And yeah, this is something that I used to carry around in my pocket when things were really rough. And if I felt a PTSD attack oncoming, then I would kind of, reach in my pocket. I would feel it. I would feel the numbers on it. I would try to feel what the numbers were based on the imprint by keeping it in my pocket, and just kind of mentally break myself away from the situation that was causing me to have an attack. So why am I discussing this? Because I do think that we need to be discussing it more, as well as I think it's an interesting kind of facet of the horror community that we do have a community. I think it's interesting. I think it's fascinating, and I really dig it. Horror fans, by and large, have been kind of the offshoot, the group of folks that are kind of kept in the dark corner and left to their own devices. It's always been a little bit of a fringe element, and that's honestly one of the things that kind of makes it a little bit great. The fact that we are outsiders, but at the end of the day, we do have each other. And it was an interesting development to me when the pandemic was going on and lockdown started going on, that after a period of time, reports were surfacing that people that loved horror movies and were part of the horror community were faring better emotionally and psychologically to the lockdown. And I don't know, I found that fascinating. And I honestly, when I read those headlines and looked at those articles, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about what this corollary was between horror fans and mental health. And I was very pleasantly surprised when I was approached about a Kickstarter campaign for a full-length documentary that is being produced right now. Directed by Jonathan Barkin, this is the film Mental Health and Horror, a documentary, and it's slated to be released in Q1 of 2022. It's currently in production, it's currently shooting, and they're going to be interviewing folks of all different types, within the horror community and within the mental health community to try and investigate this bridge and so on. And I think it's just a really fascinating endeavor. And when I heard about this Kickstarter to raise funds to produce this and get it off the ground, I wanted to be an advocate for it. So I'm making this video to make you aware that that this documentary is in production and is needing your help. If this is something that fascinates you, if something that you want to see something get off the ground, if you want to have more investigative links to mental health and horror and have it brought forth in a full-length documentary, please click on the Kickstarter link that I have included in the description below. I'm really trying to rally people behind this and get some real movement going here. I'd love for them to meet their goal. I'd love to see this in 2022. For a little bit more info on what this project is and what it's about, I'm going to go ahead and show you a clip from the director himself. Here you go.
My name is 𝗘𝗾𝘂𝗶𝗽𝗺𝗺, and I am the creator and director of Mental Health and Horror, a documentary. Horror is often shunned, and horror fans have long since been made to feel like there was something wrong with us for loving a genre that tries to be scary. But for many people, myself included, horror can be the medium for catharsis, representation, and even hope. With our film, we will explore the positive impacts that horror can have on those who live with and endure mental illness by hearing the personal impact horror has made on fans, those in the industry, and mental health professionals. We aim to make this documentary a reflection of the horror community, meaning it will include people of varying identity intersections. The horror community is vast, and this film will strive to reflect that. We hope that you will join us in supporting this project, which aims to help people around the world. Thank you.
So the Kickstarter just launched yesterday, and I'm very excited by it. I'm going to be contributing as soon as my paycheck clears tomorrow. And like I said, I just encourage you that if you're interested in this topic and you just want to take a look at it, please follow the link below and at least see what they're offering, get more information, and if you can, please help. Thank you so much for watching this. I know that this is kind of a different video than I've done, but when I feel like a project really deserves some forefront, I did it with 𝗘𝗾𝘂𝗶𝗽𝗺𝗀𝗀. If there's a Kickstarter that really kind of, in my mind, deserves some limelight, I'm more than willing to step up to the plate and advocate for it. So that's what I'm doing here. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Take care, everybody.